Used to be a paper chaser, now this money chasing me. Dedicated to the business, bagging up since 93. Player gotta grind, it's the hustle that be holding me. 100 stats, hundreds to the point I can't fold to see. I love my white, can't forget my clientele. I even got a thing for my razor and my scale. I do this for my niggas in the greater locked in jail. It's hustle till I die with them boys on my trail. Let me tell you about this game, everybody think they know about hustling.
Well, welcome back to another episode of Unlimited Minds Podcast. Of course, I'm Tay, and we have somebody else sitting across from me today. So I wanted to kind of switch it up based off the topic. This is a very important topic, especially in our community. So I wanted to get two perspectives that I feel as though is needed. So I had to call on somebody that I know is very educated and very familiar with this certain type of topic. So this is my friend Yahigha. Say what's up.
Hey, y'all.
So today's episode is going to be about mental health, trauma, all that type of stuff in our community, generational curses, and I hope that we can kind of give like a brief overview over all the things that, you know, we dealing with, especially when it comes to a male's perspective and a female's perspective and how important it is, and also from a Christian perspective as well. So I want to just kind of start off by asking, what is your mindset on mental health?
I feel like mental health is something that a lot of people don't take serious until it's like you get to like a breaking point. So I feel like mental health is something that people don't really talk about because they don't know how to talk about it or they don't know how to express it for the most part. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Absolutely agree. So I definitely think that mental health, especially in our community, isn't taken as serious as it's supposed to be. Like, especially when it comes to youth, people don't understand that kids go through a lot. They don't really talk about it. They don't really say nothing about it until something bad happens. A lot of people don't understand the pressure of, you know, how much your mind can take. And when you're dealing with something as serious as mental health, it can be hard to really talk about it because you're afraid to hear what people have to say.
Most definitely.
So I definitely think that one thing that we have to start doing is allowing, especially in the youth, we have to start allowing that conversation to be had more frequently and taken serious more frequently. What you think about that?
Like you said, especially with the youth, because everything, I tell everybody this, everything that happens with mental health, it starts from your childhood. I don't care what nobody say. And me experiencing it from firsthand, like everything comes from your childhood and it comes into your adulthood based off how you deal with it. So most definitely, I do feel like as a child, I feel like if you don't get that attention that you need or that's necessary, if you don't know how to deal with your emotions, it definitely plays a part in your adulthood.
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely. And I mean, one thing that's kind of scary is now, I mean, bullying is such a big part of that as well. I mean, being at school and being made fun of, you know, obviously speaking from a man's perspective, you know, we always talk to defend ourselves, not to take it serious, not to really cry about it, not to really have no emotions about it, just kind of be strong, you know, strong-sided, handle your business as much as you possibly can. So it's very difficult to have open conversations about being bullied, and then obviously the school system has programs, you know, guidance counselors, principals that you're supposed to go to, but I mean, how's that gonna look to your friends? You know, you tattling, you snitching.
Yeah.
So it's very scary, you know, to deal with it from a man's perspective in school, for sure.
I would say, especially like you said, a lot of people don't pay attention to how men do have emotions. It's kind of like men are taught to be tough. And like I said, it starts with your childhood. All little boys don't cry, you know, like you need to toughen up. I feel like that's something that a lot of people say, but they don't know how that can affect people when they get older. That's why I always told somebody, I was like, if I have me a son, I'm never going to tell my son, like, boys don't cry, like you need to toughen up. I might tell my son, you know, like, you know, don't be crying so much, but all that men don't cry stuff, and then people wonder why men are so emotionally unavailable.
That's
So
right. I mean,
most definitely.
yeah, I definitely agree. One thing that I was always going to do when eventually when I have a son is teach him that showing your emotions is important,
Most
but also
definitely.
knowing that, you know, it's a place and time for it, you know, and it's also a time where you have to, you know, defend yourself, assert yourself in certain situations instead of reacting, you know, emotionally. So, you know, now, I mean, we have like a very, you know, toxic masculinity when it comes to that, especially when you're getting older and you trying to, you know, show love to your partner, to your significant other, your children, your family. but you never really was taught how to really do it in a way that's efficient and, helpful to that family member or that relationship.
Yep.
And now that can, show you being very closed off. You can't really express how you feel. And that's the reason why most of our men are out here dying on a high rate when it comes to heart disease, because they're stressed out. They really don't know how to speak. They go to work every day. They don't really say anything, and when they say something, it's not really taken serious. You a man, toughen up. I mean, and in a certain way it's true, but there's also a certain time when you really need to express how you feel. So, but I do want to also talk about it from a woman's perspective because that's not really talked about as well. Now, obviously, we know the woman is supposed to be the most emotional creature. So, how's that affect them? How's that affect them?
That's a touchy topic, but I would say women have a lot of stuff they hold in too, but it's more so often everybody always, oh, how does the woman feel? How does the child feel? And that's important too. But after time, after having to be like, oh, we have to be providers too. We have to get up every day and do our daily routines just like men do. But it's like, I guess from my perspective, I would say it's a lot of stuff that I had to sweep under the rug. And everybody was like, oh, you got to deal with it eventually. And I'm like, I'm trying, but I'm trying to get my money, I'm trying to do stuff to keep me moving so I don't think about it. And then when it was a situation that happened where God forced me to sit down and I had no choice but to sit down, it was like, oh, this is what I'm dealing with. And somebody had already told me, it was like, eventually everything gonna come from under that rug and it's gonna stink. And that's what happens. It's like, once you be like, oh, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna smoke. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna party. I'm gonna keep moving, working every day so I don't have to think about it. But when you get forced to sit down and God forced you to slow down, it's just like, oh, okay. Like, you feel like you're going crazy. That's how I feel. I feel like I was going crazy. And I was just like, I think something is wrong with me. And I was telling my then partner, I'm like, I think something is wrong with me. He was like, no, it's not. No, I feel like something is wrong with me. But not knowing it was just like trauma, like that's where mental health comes from. Trauma. A lot of stuff that you deal with, you don't know how to deal with it. And then it's like, I'm just recently learning, it's like when you sweep stuff under the rug for so long, it becomes a thing that you learn how to forget certain things until somebody bring it up to you. You like, oh wow, that really did happen. And now you reliving all those emotions. And now certain smells or certain things you see trigger you. So I feel like me dealing with that as a woman, I feel like that was really, really hard. I feel like that was one of the toughest times in my life. But learning how to have that relationship with God and then actually getting the help that I needed and being around people that were like me and that was going through the same thing, I'm like, wow. So I'm not the only person that feel like this. I'm not crazy. I'm not going insane like people think I am. So it's tough, but I promise you it can be done. It definitely can.
Did you feel like it was easy for you to have communication with people about your mental health when you was dealing with it?
No.
Yeah, that's the problem.
My family, they the type of people like, one day my mom said something to me and she had texted me. She was like, can you watch your sister? I'm like, mentally I'm not in the mindset to do that. And she was just like, what do you mean? And it was just a response. And I'm like, I just left it at that. I didn't feel like explaining it because my family type people like, what you mean you don't, you mentally going through this, but not knowing my dad is bipolar schizophrenic. It runs really deep on my dad's side. So I'm starting to think like, am I crazy? I know I don't have all these personalities and emotions and stuff, but, just talking to people about that and knowing the history that my dad side of the family have, I'm like, I don't want them to think I'm crazy. So I'm not going to tell nobody that. So at the time, the only person I could tell was my significant other. That's it.
Well, I definitely agree. And that's one thing that's scary because me, my dad is also schizophrenic and, obviously I'm sure he has like mental health issues. Our family has mental health issues going past that. And I've always kind of been skeptical of my own mental health because, we all kind of have our own episodes. And when you dealing with trauma, because we all got our own things going on in the closet, whatever is going on, past trauma as a kid, trauma from working, trauma for trying to take care of your responsibilities. And to be, kind of nervous that maybe that you will be dealing with something as serious as schizophrenia. And I was there when he kind of started to, go crazy, I guess you could say. And it was very scary, because I'm a very religious person, and I grew up in a very religious household, and the approach was more about demonic principalities and
Mhm.
stuff that was going on instead of actually mental health problems.
Mhm.
And you don't get me wrong, prayer is powerful. It always will be powerful, and it can handle anything. But also looking at it from a traumatic standpoint, I
Mhm.
mean, it's also important. You can pray and throw oil over somebody all they want to, but if you're not looking at how this person lived their life, having conversations about what they grow through, I mean, that's
Mhm.
also growth that you can be giving this person too. Because I don't know what he could have been going through in that situation.
Mhm.
I don't know what he could have been carrying. And I don't know what he went through in that situation.
Mhm.
But, praying for somebody and not getting answers could be, not really causing help in that situation. So that's
Yeah,
definitely something that we have to do as a black community. It's okay. It's important to have God in it always,
most definitely.
but it's also important to have conversations that really start to get to the bottom of these problems and start to
Mhm.
get answers to situations, because you can pray for somebody all you want to, but
Mhm.
if they're not going to really tell you what's really going on with them, and they're not going to really share their testimony and get it out of them, like just get the relief of whatever the problem is out of them, you're not really going to get anywhere, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I like that you said that because I was just trying to explain that to somebody. Being a Christian, people think I like I'm one of them Christians. I see stuff from every standpoint. I hate when people just, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this, by the book, most definitely. But people don't understand it's more than just praying to this. Like I hate when people say, oh, just pray about it, just pray about it. Yes, prayer works, it does. But it's like I need something else. Cause at the time I didn't feel like prayer was working for me. I'm gonna be
Mhm.
honest. I'm like, I'm praying, I'm getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm praying at the same time, like I'm in my word. I'm watching these sermons daily. I'm worshiping God. And I'm just like, this is not going away. I got baptized. I feel like everything got worse. But they was like, when you get baptized, it's like a spiritual awareness that wakes up inside of you.
Mhm.
So a lot of bad things start happening. And I'm just like, I'm going through all this stuff. And people just saying pray. And I'm like, no, I need something more than that. So that's when I was forced to have to go through a situation where I had to get help and I had to go to therapy. So it's crazy that you said that because not a lot of people understand that actually getting therapy actually works.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I'm a like very strong believer that you can be a Christian and you can go to a therapist and sit down and have a
mhm.
conversation. I'm a Christian that believes that they should go together. I mean, you should be
Mhm.
able to cleanse your mental health and cleanse your spiritual health as well. And
Mhm.
I can speak on being baptized and the power of prayer. I mean, going through mental problems, you really don't. I mean, it kind of sometimes it make you kind of question God, because you feel like you're going through this big situation,
Mhm.
and you praying about it and you talking about it and you asking for guidance. You going to church, you asking people to pray for you. You talking to
Mhm.
the pastors, you talking to the elders, you talking to everybody that you can, and you having a serious conversation. But when you go home, like the prayer feels good. Like you crying, you get it
Mhm.
out your system, but it's still there. It's always lingering around,
Mhm.
and it makes you question, like, well, God, what am I doing wrong to really get some type of healing from this situation, because it's just bothering me, and
Yeah.
I did everything that I could. I surrounded myself with a community of people who, have been through this situation, and they always talking about they break through their testimony,
Mhm.
but I feel like I'm not getting it. And I just believe that you have to also open your mind up to what is available to you on this planet. God bless those therapists to sit down and have conversation with you,
Most definitely.
give you stuff that you can do, exercises that allow you to, cleanse yourself mentally. God isn't always just prayer. God
Mhm.
also blesses the people through what we use every day.
Mhm.
It should be normal for us to go to a therapist and
Mhm.
have conversations after a grieving period,
Yeah.
or after something traumatic happens, or mental health crisis, whatever. It should be normal. Going to church is absolutely fine, but these people have studied the psychology of the brain, and how to what some certain things that they can do, like think journals and
Mhm.
conversations and text calling people and saying, I remember this happened to me, and I just want you to know that you really hurt me. Just being open and being honest and transparent.
Mhm.
It should be a mixture of both, and I don't think that you can get some type of healing if you only do both. That's what I think.
Yeah, but with that being said, I feel like I definitely understand that, but it's like speaking from a person that I be tapped in with God a lot.
Absolutely.
But it's just what I've learned is not just people think, oh, you just pray. You just got to also have faith. You get what I'm saying?
right.
Like, I have faith in everything that God do for me. And I know it's going to work out. It may not seem like it right then and there because it's like, oh, I'm going through this tough time, going through the wilderness. Like, God, I've been going through the wilderness this long. Like, this person got their breakthrough. This person got their breakthrough. And God just like, you one of them ones. Like, you not them. You know, it might have been a little easier for them and it might be a little harder for you, but I got something special for you. Get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So based off how long you stay in the wilderness, it's really just like your obedience. Because sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, it was times where God told me not to do stuff, and I was being very disobedient. Like, God told me to let a situation go. I didn't do that right when he wanted me to because it was just like, dang, like, I don't know if this is what God really want or this is what I want. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, God will make you let things go. God will make you do all these things. It's like, because you delaying yourself. Like, everything is already promised to us. God know what you're going to do before you do it, before it happen, all this stuff. He know all this stuff. But it's like, God promised you these things. He like, okay, you're going to be this person. You're going to be a successful individual. You're going to be a public speaker, this, that, and the third. Okay, like, God, when is it coming? Well, really, it's like, what are you doing to delay it? Mm-hmm. Because maybe God told you not to move here and you moved here and did it because that's what you thought was good, but God didn't tell you to do that. You did that.
That's right.
So everything is based on being obedient and having your faith.
That's right.
And moving on God's time, not yours.
That's right. And people don't understand how strong the flesh is. I mean, it's a very strong element to not being able to hear God's voice clearly because you can kind of get twisted up in who's talking. I mean, flesh is very powerful. People don't understand when you listening to something, you listen to a voice in your mind, and sometimes you can't tell the difference. That's where spiritual strength comes from. That's where you have to have that level of discernment to really clearly get instruction from God. I mean, because sometimes God will tell you something and you can be completely confused on why you're supposed to do this in that period of time, and you have no idea how it's going to happen.
Yeah. I
mean, you have no idea. Like, I mean, I've had a period of time in my life where I was listening to God and I'm like, well, God, I'm confused. I'm here in this situation. I want to know what am I supposed to be doing the rest of my life. Like, I don't feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing more. Now, I'm in a season where I'm doing good in life compared to everybody else's expectation. I'm working at a job with good benefits. I'm making good money, but mentally and spiritually I'm drained. Like, I'm just questioning myself. I'm questioning my abilities, and I'm crying myself, to sleep at night saying, I don't want to live my life like this, just going to work, paying bills, and going to sleep every night. That's not me. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing more. And getting a revelation from God that I am, but when you get that revelation, it's just the steps to getting to the point where you're supposed to be at. And you're absolutely right. You can be standing in your way of your own destiny, but the question is, how do you know you're standing in the way of your own destiny? Because the flesh is telling you, if you do this, you can get to this. If you do this, you make this decision, you get to this. But how do you think is important? Well, why do you think it's important to have that spiritual awareness to actually understand how to detect the voice of God and the voice of your flesh?
Okay, so what I would say is, me just being honest, people have their own ways of doing stuff, but I feel like when I fast, my spirit is more sensitive to what it is that God wants me to know or what He's trying to tell me. And it's like a lot of people, they got their own way of dealing with it, but that's how I deal with mine. I fast. I take that intimate time. I pray to God, watch sermons every day, listen to my gospel music, worship, yeah. But when you fasting, that's your most powerful time. And I heard Sarah Jakes say, not so long ago, this is my favorite thing, but about the spiritual warfare tools. Like, when you going through these battles, how are you dealing with it? Like, are you sitting in the house, are you crying about it? Because this is what I used to do. I'd sit in the house, cry about it. I'll mope around and be like, why am I going through this? I'm just so good at everybody else. But it's like, what are your tools that you're using to get yourself out of it? So then I start realizing, I'm like, wow. Like, she was talking about how people listen to music. They would listen to worship music. They watch a sermon. Do you call a mentor? Do you call somebody to talk about God? What are you feeding your spirit with when you're going through these challenges? I feel like that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. And people, people kind of get fast and just tied on like the eating part. Like, don't eat
that's
for
a diet.
days. Yeah, like that's diet. That's for sure a diet. So people don't understand that fasting can be a variety of things. You can fast from social media. You can fast from people. You can fast for your daily lifestyles. Whatever is stopping you from hearing God clearly, that's something that you need to fast from. And it don't have to be no Daniel's fast. It don't have to be. It's the fast is supposed to last however long it is till you hear God's voice clearly, and that should be something that. I mean, now the church culture now is we fast every beginning of the year. We do like a 30-day fast, and then we don't fast no more. As a community anymore, and people just never fast. People don't even last a week in the fast that we do at church. But people don't understand that some of the stuff that we doing and some of the stuff that we go through is just our lack of obedience to what God wants us to do. And fasting is a very important asset to hearing God clearly. I mean, it's situations where I was just super confused based on how my life is structured compared to where God want me to be. I'm just like super tied up in where I'm at in life, but I know it's somewhere I'm supposed to get to. I know it's a level that I'm supposed to obtain, but I need to know where God want me to go from here. And it's very tough because you really get stuck in the wilderness and you looking around and all you see is just trees and all you see is just like no escaping point from it, because that's just your life and how you obstruct it. But when you really sit down and say, okay, well, what is distracting me from getting to where I need to get to? What is really stopping me from getting to where I need to get to? And when I was able to detect whatever that was stopping me from getting to what I was getting to, maybe it was something that I was holding a grudge against a family member that I never could get any clearance on, never get any closure on. Maybe it was something that I was dealing with that was hurting my soul inside, my heart inside. It was just, my heart was broken one day and I never let it go. And that really stopped me from getting to where I got to. And when I let it go and I actually prayed for forgiveness and I fasted on it, and my soul was able to get like relief on it, I was just able to get to where I was needed to get to quicker. So yeah.
I would say to that, thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think I can relate to that. But I had to realize it's conversations that when we grow closer to God, or we feel like I'm surrendering everything to you, God, and it's like I want these certain relationships with certain people, and I know it's hard for me to have these certain relationships because I feel like I'm holding a grudge. And you're like, oh, I want to talk to this person and just tell them how I feel without hurting them or feeling like I'm being a burden on them. It's like that's how I was. I was the same way, but it's just like I had to realize it's certain conversations that some people just don't be ready for. They say they be ready for them, but they don't be ready for them conversations. So you be like, I feel like I'm still here because I can't release this thing that I'm trying to let go of. And I'm trying to, bring everybody together. I'm trying to make sure that I'm letting all these things, all these feelings that I have bottled up inside, letting them go without hurting nobody else or stepping on nobody else's toes to protect them. But it's like, also by trying to protect them, it's like you hurting yourself in the process. Am I right?
That's absolutely
Yeah,
right.
but it's like also it's just like you gotta realize everybody don't be ready for those conversations. And by letting certain things go and asking God for that forgiveness is one of the hardest things that I struggle with. Like I was a very nice person. I'm still a very nice person. But I would just let people continue to do the same thing and continue to show me who they was. And I'm just like, oh, they gonna change. And God just like, I done showed you. How many more times do I need to knock on your head and tell you like, let it go?
Let's just say from a relationship standpoint. So, do you think? Now I'm asking because obviously you're a woman, so I'm asking. Do you think women look down on men for showing emotions, or do you think it's being more accepted?
I didn't know he was gonna ask me that.
Well, I got to.
I tell everybody this. I'm not. How do I say this? I'm not everybody else. I feel like some women do, but that's not me. I feel like when I was in a relationship, it didn't get no better than me. Let me just say this, because I'm like I was one of them girlfriends like, let's sit in the dark. We'll sit in the dark. I'ma hold your hand. I'ma hold you. I'ma hug you. I'ma ask you what's wrong. I'm like, why do you feel like you doing what you're doing? Why do you feel like you going through what you're going through, or why you can't process your emotions? Why you can't talk to me about this? Why do you feel like you have to talk to this person? You can't talk to me about that. This is true facts. So I'm one of them girlfriends. I feel like even if you getting off work and you have a long day, and I've been at home cooking, cleaning, making sure you straight when you get home. I used to rub his feet, rub his back, everything we get off work, and just be like, how your day went? Like, do you want to talk about anything? I heard you was mad earlier. Like, how do you, you got anything you want to express. Let me just say that. But I feel like a lot of women do look down on men for showing emotions, especially in this generation, because they feel like it's weak. I don't feel like that's weak. I feel like you should want a man to express that, because when a man don't talk about that, that's when it should be a problem.
That's right.
If he feel like he got to hold everything in and you're not his safe place to understand him, a man is not going to be willing to tell you anything. He going to look for that person that he can talk to about everything.
That's right.
That's why I feel like I was one of them people like, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. And then you get quiet all of a sudden, I'm like, something ain't right. Because I'm used to you talking to me. I'm not one of them people like, oh, he mad today. He'll be all right. He'll get over it. No, because it's not fair that when you going through something, he got to support you mentally, but you can't support him. Men deal with a lot of stuff.
Right.
They got to be providers. They got to come home. And when you want your hand out for money, oh, I need this, I need that. But when all this man wants is a conversation, men are simple creatures. People say it all the time. They simple. They just be wanting people to talk, listen, nurture them. That's what they want. But if you always got your hand out and you never ask that man how he feel, but when you crying and you going through your emotions, he there. Make it make sense.
That's right.
So I feel like, yeah, some women, they do, but
let's just say you're a great example of how you're supposed to handle the situation.
It's not smart.
But I will say this, speaking from somebody who done been through, certain growing up circumstances where mental health really wasn't taken seriously. And I'm like, my greatest example is my dad. Like, I've never seen my dad really be emotional. Somebody passed away. He's very straightforward. He don't really talk about it. And I'm kind of that way now. Like, if I'm upset about something, I don't really say nothing about it. It takes a lot for me to open up. And it takes a lot for me to trust somebody, because I done been hurt, by telling somebody what I was really going through. And they use it against me, and they tell people, and then I hear it from them when they mad at me. And I'm like, how do you even know about that? That's something you weren't even supposed to know about. And it hurt. Like, it really do hurt when you finally allow yourself to open up and say something that's really been bothering you, and you hear it from somebody else. So for me to trust somebody to say something like that, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
Now me, I have a great circle of men around me, that I can have honest conversations, about certain stuff that I go through, because, I like to kind of rely on their, whatever they've been through relationship wise, or, business wise, or, emotional wise. And that's great. But if I'm going to be living with you in the house with you every single day, and I look at you as somebody that, I'm providing for, that I care about, I need, I need to also be comfortable with you as well. And a lot of women really don't go the extra mile, like you said, to really make it a comfortable space to have that conversation. And like you said, men, we really don't talk about how hard it is, especially me. My dad had me young, so he really didn't know what a great male role model was. I never really knew what a great male role model was. I never really knew what it took to be a man. I really didn't know. All I knew is that what a woman wanted a man to be. That's all I knew. And being able to have this conversation open about it, and saying that, listen, I go to work, I'm struggling, I'm tired, I'm mentally drained. To me, when I had that conversation to people in my circle, sometimes, my older circle, it'd be like, well, you just lazy. You don't want to, they don't mean nothing. You just don't, it don't matter. And you start to kind of implement that in your mind. You stop talking about it because you think people are going to look at you crazy. And now mental health is starting to be more aware, especially for men. But I still think it's an element of quietness that we have, that we're kind of afraid. And I think that starts at home. Because if I can't have a conversation with you at home, then I'm not supposed to have a conversation with nobody. I'll sleep beside you every night. We eat together. I work, I go to work, and I come right back home to you. You're the person I see every morning. You're the person I see every night. And if I have to feel hesitant to even bring this up to you based off your response, who am I supposed to be comfortable with? And that can cause a lot of problems with relationship, because if I can find that person that I'm comfortable with to have a conversation with, and this is also true. People look at it like emotional. To me, emotional relationships are more stronger than sexual and physical relationships, because if I can come to you and have a conversation with you and be very transparent, and I feel more comfortable with you about these certain topics, then naturally I'm going to be more attracted to the fact that I can have a conversation with you and you make me feel a certain type of way than if I go home and I have a conversation with the person that I sleep with every night and you make me feel like, well, that don't matter. Make sure you get up and go to work tomorrow so we can get these bills paid on the first. Then I'm not going to feel comfortable coming home to you every night. And I'm going to go back to that same person that I feel comfortable with. And guess what? Something's going to happen eventually. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that because I got a question.
What's up?
So, if a female is giving a man all those things and they trying to be that safe place for them, and that person didn't grow up like that, they don't have that, they wasn't taught to be emotional, and you trying to teach them these things, and you trying to understand, you willing to go through all the hard times to understand why men think the way they think, and it's like the stuff you want, you get, but then you look for something else. I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
Let me be honest. Let me speak for most men. Well, I can't even speak for most men. I speak for myself. Now, if I found that, and it was very simple for me to be open with somebody, and I have somebody who's very dedicated to figuring out how I think, I don't see why I would be looking somewhere else. I was being honest, because if I can come home, I'm being real. I mean, if I can come home and say, listen, number one, I'm going through a lot at work. I'm going through a lot. Like, this is very stressful for me. Everything in my life is very stressful. And I got somebody there trying to comfort me in this situation and allow me to really, break that generational curse of not being able to be open. I don't see why I would feel, especially on an emotional standpoint. Now, I can't speak from let's just say that let's just say lack of sexual relationship. Now, some men choose that reason to step out of their relationship. Some men, most likely, some men choose that reason to stand out of that relationship. And to be honest, that's the most stupidest reason to step out of a relationship, because that's only 20% of a relationship. 80% of a relationship is being able to deal with somebody on a day-to-day basis, being able to be comfortable with somebody on a day-to-day basis, being able to have serious conversations with somebody on a day-to-day basis. Sex is just one part of that, because if I don't get sex, then at least I can have a conversation with you about something that's serious. Now, if you're not showing me the time of day, and I'm very open about it, and you making it seem like it don't matter, even though me and you just had this conversation, then yeah, I mean, I don't think our relationship gonna work. But if I'm getting the total package, then I'm not going nowhere. I mean, my service is great. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna say I was the best when it came to I was, but it was a certain situation I couldn't understand. It was like I'm like, wow, you understand everybody else, but I try to get you to understand me and you don't understand me. And it's like, well, you don't understand me because I'm having to do this, and I understand men have to carry the weight of everybody else and figure out what it is that everybody else need, especially their family. Men are, when they have a family, they try to help everybody. And I understood that, but I just couldn't understand. I'm like, what are you looking for? Because what you looking at is definitely not what you got at home. But I had to understand, sometimes it don't be you, it be the other person. So.
Oh yeah, trust me. I mean,
most definitely.
Yeah, I'm be honest though. I mean, just speaking for me, if I got what I need at home, there's no need for me to really go anywhere else. If I feel like, and I'm a type of person, I move. I also, when it comes to a relationship, I move off what I need to get me to what I need to get to in the next stage of my life. Like, I'm a big believer of Adam and Eve, the real structure of that story when it comes to relationship, because Adam had a work to do, and Eve was sent to be the helper of that work. And if you don't have the proper helper to get you to where you need to get to, then you're not going to be able to get to where you need to get to.
Yep.
And if you're in a relationship where you don't feel like you have the proper, if you don't feel like, really that you have the proper person to get you to that next step of life, if you don't have the person that's motivating you, trying to make sure that you feel comfortable when you go to work, motivating you to get to that next step, elevating you as a man, then you're not going to get that. You're not going to get anywhere. Now, if you come home and you being dragged and you just, you feel like emotionally you just tired, and you're not, and it's not really getting anywhere, and you don't have that woman to really upgrade you when it comes to an emotional standpoint, then obviously kind of in a way you're gonna isolate yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
you can be looking elsewhere sometimes. But me, I'm very transparent about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I don't feel like I'm getting to where I need to get to, then we just not gonna work. I mean, if I'm going somewhere in life and I feel like you're not gonna help me get to that place, or you're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna be what I need you to be in this moment, maybe I'm just not the man for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in stepping out on somebody. That's
Mm-hmm.
just me. I mean, I just think that if I'm having a relationship with you and it's not working, we can just not see each other anymore, and that's
Most
that.
definitely.
You know, it's kind of wasting my time to go have sex with another woman and have this relationship with another woman, and I feel like I'm getting everything I need with this other
Mm-hmm.
woman, and I'm coming back to you, and we sleeping in the bed together, and I'm not happy. Why am I going to be in a situation where I'm not happy? I have
Mm-hmm.
no ties to you. I don't have no. We're not married. We don't have no kids. I can easily go find something else if I'm not happy. You know what I'm saying? But some men play games like that. Some men
Mm-hmm.
want to have multiple women. Some men want to deal with multiple women, which is crazy to me because let's be honest, dealing with if you're dealing with one woman right, then you shouldn't be looking somewhere else because one woman is a lot to deal with. I mean, you got a lot. I mean, I'm just being real. If you're dealing with a woman right, you got to you married. You know, you have to deal with their emotional issues. You have to be the rock for them. You have to provide.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be open. You got to make sure they doing what they doing what they supposed to do, getting to the level they supposed to get to on the spiritual level.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be the spiritual leader for your household. You got to make sure they praying, they staying devoted to what they, whatever they pursuing in life, their goals, their dreams, their motivation. And then on top of that, you trying to deal with multiple other women. To me, it just seemed like you mishandling the one that you got. And if you can't, if you can't handle the one that you got, then you just need to find someone that you can handle because
No, you need
yeah.
God. That's what
Yeah.
that is.
I mean, yeah, you need.
I'm trying
yeah.
to tell you because you can't. If I feel like if you can treat anybody bad based off how you feel, I feel like I said, everything starts in the household, and kids see. Like, even like as little kids, you hear people tell little boys, "Oh, how many girlfriends you got?" I feel like that's a very bad trait to teach a kid. Am I wrong? I just feel like I would never tell my son like how many girlfriends you got. Like, people brag on it. I don't think that's cute. I don't think that's cute at all. Because when men get older, they be like, "Oh, I seen this person with multiple girlfriends. I see this person sleeping around doing this." That's nasty.
That's very nasty.
It's very nasty. And it's like, you can, like you were saying, when a person, they have a lot and they can go look for it elsewhere, I feel like you need to heal. That's a person that's unhealed. If you feel like you have to search for those things, and especially if you feel like a person is not emotionally available to you, I feel like it's not everybody, but if you do something that bothers me, I'm gonna tell you it bothers me. I'm gonna tell you 1,000 times, like, this bothers me. But eventually I'm gonna get tired of saying it, and then eventually it's gonna be like, oh well, I done told you, so now I'm just starting not to care. I'm not going to be the same person. I'm not going to continue to be good to you. I'm going to be my genuine self, but I'm not going to continue to go out my way to make things happen for a person that don't appreciate it.
That's
you
right.
get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's, yeah.
You absolutely need to heal, and that's an important part of it. But at the end of the day, if you're not being transparent about it, nobody know you need to heal. I mean, if you're not really being honest about what's going on, then nobody knows that's
In
what's
denial.
going through. Yeah, some people really be in denial. And some people don't understand there's something going on inside of you instead of the next person because I could be looking at you as you the cause of why I'm not getting to where I need to get to. But the reason why I say, number one, if you're in a relationship, because a relationship bed is important for a man. It's very important to be with somebody that really makes you a better person. Because if you in a relationship with somebody and let's just say, obviously everybody has a healing point. But if you're in a relationship with somebody and you really not getting the full experience of a relationship and you're not really moving forward, then obviously there's something in that part that needs to be handled. Now that could come from communication. Now I want to start right because I want to respond to what you said about like how kids be raised. I absolutely agree with that. Like when it comes to you a cute little boy. I'm sure you got a lot of girlfriends at school and stuff like that. Little comments like that drag because they think that that's the bar they're supposed to have. Having multiple women is what makes them a man. Now, when I parent, I'm gonna teach them the importance of a relationship and why you should limit the relationship that you have because of how important it is. Now, it takes a lot mentally, emotionally because let's just be honest. If you went through a relationship as a kid or mentally been in a relationship with somebody when you was in middle school or something like that, and your developing years, that trauma sits there for a long time, and you can carry it to when you finally find somebody that's really the man that you're supposed to be with or the woman that you're supposed to be with. You unleash that trauma on that person, and now you make this person the person that you hated so long ago because you unleashed that trauma on it. You carrying whatever you're dealing with in middle school, whatever you're dealing with in high school, and now you're not being able to be the man or the woman that you're supposed to be because you're still stuck on the heartbreak that was then. That's why it's important for you not to really be looking for relationships at such a young age, because first of all, you're not spiritually developed yet to be in a relationship. You're not mentally developed yet to be in a relationship. And if you make certain decisions, let's just say now, let's be real, now sex is passed down to kids at a young age, and seeing women who, you know, wearing adult clothes, men looking for stuff like that. Kids are having sex at a younger age now than ever, in my opinion. So now it's more typical. Now you are connecting your soul to somebody, and if a heartbreak happens after you done connect your soul to somebody, that stuff carries forever if you don't really get the proper healing that you're supposed to get.
And because everything is sexualized.
Yes.
Everything nowadays is sexualized. I was doing something the other day, and I'm like, why is it, why has it got to be like that? Like, everything is sexualized. You can't get on nothing and not see something that's not sexualized. Like, that's the world we live in, down to the music, the clothes. Like, when I was 15 and 16, I wouldn't dare put on no crop top and no 30-inch bust down. 2-inch nails. Who? Girl, you better go back in the house. Matter of fact, I'm finna cut all them nails off. No. Everything.
Now. Very typical.
These kids, they're gonna have it hard.
I mean, and that's the power of social media. That's the power of influence, and there's a lot of parents, right now who really don't pay attention to it, and that's why, like, when we have certain conversations about who your kids listening to, I don't think that kids should be listening to like Megan Thee Stallion, Sexy Red, and they still in that age group, because that's very influential. And now you're listening to music like that, you think that that's what you're supposed to do, and now most music right now is depopulating relationships, is, city girl attitude. You have multiple men, you deal with multiple men, and you just kind of pass them off like that. Like a very, I'm trying to think of the popular word to use, but very like hoish attitude. I mean, that's what we are. I mean, that should be very blunt. And men the same way. I mean, we prey on that. And now we think that we did. I mean, and now, to be honest with you, it's going to be very difficult to find marriages now than ever, because of that attitude, especially in the Black community. And we already the last on the poll list to get married, and we the first to get divorced. And now, when you dealing with something like that, that causes men to go look elsewhere in different like races, because of how we are. I mean, I done had conversation with some of my Black friends, and we have conversations, and we be like, man, I really like Black women, but I don't like the attitude. I really don't like how they act.
Just keep it real. I mean, Black women, I done heard men say it. They be like, I'm not dating no. I be like, you a Black man, you don't date Black girls? No. They got nasty attitudes. A lot of them do. They snobby. They got bad attitudes. Not all. Don't take me on this. Don't come at me. But I'm just saying, they got bad attitudes. Like, it's very snobby. Like, and there's other races too, but mainly us. Just being real.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, now most men and women, they want, like, if you go on TikTok and you go in places like that, most men and women, they want to have conversations about, like, let's just say traditional men, traditional women. They want that type of relationship to be back. But on top of that, it comes a lot with that. I mean, and that comes with also training. Like, back then, grandmothers and mothers, they was in the kitchen teaching their daughters how to cook, how to clean, how to take care of it. And they was also involved in a culture where marriages last 30, 40, 50 years. When you actually married with somebody and you together with somebody and you die in a marriage, and that's that. Now it's like relationship. You date this person, you involve with this person, and then they disappear. And then you see somebody else and they disappear. And these are women, and you have kids in that, and then that transitions to now a generational curse, to where you don't really know what it really takes to be a wife. You really don't know what it takes to be a husband. You really don't know what it takes to be a man or a woman in this type of society. So now when you get into a relationship with somebody and you really want to be married with somebody, now you really don't know. You find it out on the fly, and that's what makes divorces go high. I mean, when I was growing up, divorce was like a cuss word. I mean, I'm be honest, that's like a cuss word. You don't divorce. Like, you stay together. And I'm not saying you put yourself through. Some women have stayed with some men, and women have stayed with, some men have stayed with women where they was just being dogged out, and they just stayed because of that's how it is. Sometimes it is like that. But having a healthy, like, seeing that healthy relationship, seeing more cases where men and women are together for a long time, and actually seeing a structure of a loving household, of a loving marriage, is more important. When you see when you seeing kids now in this culture where now it's just being celebrated to not be in a relationship, or to mishandle a relationship, or to mishandle a girlfriend or a boyfriend, to talk to somebody but still go behind their back and have sex, and talk to somebody and get, comfortable with somebody, and you allow them to tell them all your deepest and darkest secrets or whatever trauma that you're dealing with, and you lean on this person, and they, put you in a situation where they step out on you, that's celebrated now. That's be honest with you. That's why a lot of men and a lot of women getting killed by their partners, coming up disappearing, because that turned people into psychopaths. I mean, I'm being real. Being real.
Child, I thought I was gonna be one time.
Hey, who haven't?
Had to ask the good Lord above to save me. Nah, just playing. But don't just say it. No, for real though, because being in a relationship and stuff going wrong, it's just like it take up motion, like females emotional creatures, but men go through stuff like that too when breakups happen. I feel like it'd be like a soul tie or something. Like, it's just like this bond that you have with a person, and you be around them every day, and you like, dang, like, I'm gonna go back, but knowing you're not supposed to go back. And I feel like you was talking about in the old days, divorce and all this stuff, yeah, but I feel like we kind of got it good, but we kind of got it bad, because back then our grandparents and stuff, they was getting cheated on,
They
but
was.
they
For
just
sure.
didn't. Our granddaddy just ain't get caught. Cause you
Mhm.
heard that song. What's that old school song? It's just like, if I call once, and if she answer, call twice, and I'm gonna walk around the corner, it'll go meet you. Like, they was doing that back in the day.
Yeah,
But
they
you
was.
know,
They
like,
was.
yeah, it's like now it's just easier to get caught. That's it. It's just easier to get caught, cause you got what? You got Apple. You got Instagram with.
Life 360.
Yeah, you got Instagram with the what is it called? Vanish mode, where you can send messages. You got iPhones with the hidden messages, hidden pictures. Now you can pull up the old messages, edit messages. I'm like, y'all supposed to be helping us catch the cheaters, not helping the cheaters get away with it. But that's how it is. I mean, nowadays everything is different, way different.
Yeah.
Social media, technology, all that. So.
And it creates a bad environment for relationships. Because now, I don't know, like, when I see certain posts about toxic, like, stuff like relationships, about cheating and stuff like that, I normally go read the comments, because I want to see where people's minds at. And the most liked comments are, stay to yourself, King. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about no relationship, because you can't trust nobody. Or women be like, well, they had it coming, or, I hate men who do this. I hate men who do that. It's just so much. Like, it's like we all living the same life without living the same life. And
trauma dumping. That's
absolutely
what it is.
It is trauma dumping, but it also gives you a different light that, yeah, a lot of people are dealing with. This is like a problem. Like, this is actually a problem that's going on with relationships. And now, when we already dealing with, like, depopulation, when we dealing with, like, the world not wanting relationships to be what it is, and, marriages are not being what it is, we dealing with more single households, single parent households than ever. And now we are raising a culture where kids are getting older, and they're not knowing what it takes to be in relationships. And now it's more relationships where it's teen pregnancies. And now it's more relationships where the trauma level is higher. And this stuff like this needs to be addressed. Some stuff like this need to be talked about, because if we continue to have it go this way, then eventually, what are we gonna do? It's just gonna be bad. Relationships are never gonna get to where a place where we can have high marriage rates and raise children to be respectable. Now, one thing I want to say about, like, older relationships, yeah, it's grandfathers who was out there. Hey, they had their side pieces. They was over there at Charlene's house at 3:00 in the morning, and that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? You never knew nothing about it. Like, the kids, we never knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
And when stuff like that happened, they handled it as an adult, but you never knew nothing about it.
It wasn't broadcast.
It was very much, it wasn't broadcast. It wasn't like you didn't really see that. All you seen was the loving side. You seen when you came home from school, grandma was in there cooking, and grandpa came home from work. you know, they watched TV, they went to bed. That was it, you know, and that's all you seen. And they loved on each other. They might have argued and you wasn't around. But now it's just like, obviously social media is a part of that. We got relationships, like people get cheated on. And this part killed me. I don't know about you. But if you catch somebody cheating, why do you have to pull out your camera and videotape it and then put it on TikTok, put it on TikTok, put it on, you know, social media, X, YouTube, whatever.
Why do you have to let it be known to everybody around you?
Yeah.
That's my thing.
See, people want to feel bad.
I'm going to expose this person. Why would you expose them? That's not your job.
Exactly.
That's God's job. Because God he gonna deal with them one way or another. They gonna find somebody they think they truly, truly love, and they gonna dog them.
That's right.
He don't got to do nothing to them. I just let people get their karma. That's it.
Right. And some people, I mean, now it's just, I mean, and people don't understand. Like you said, vengeance is the Lord. You gotta let God get the vengeance for you, because at the end of the day, what good is it gonna do? You're only making yourself into the person that you hate right now because that person did you wrong, and now you jump into a relationship with somebody else, and now you make it your whole life work to get revenge on this person. And honestly, I done had homeboys, they get cheated on. They go sleep with their sister. They go sleep with their best friend. Yeah, I mean, it is what I mean. Like, revenge is something serious because, like, I mean, it happens like that. Women the same way. They find out somebody. Yeah, you find out somebody, your man cheating on you. You gonna go talk. You already know that his best friend wants you. So what you gonna do? You gonna be with their best friend? You gonna be with their best friend, or you gonna be with their brother or something like that? Some women go sleep with their dad.
Oh, that's trash.
Hey, I mean, that's for real. It happens. I mean, it happens. Some revenge is very important. In some people's eyes, they think that they have to have it. They got to do certain things to gain it. And I just don't think that you should put yourself in a situation where you harming yourself more because all you doing is letting that person win. Because look at how you reacting. You are not the type of person to do something like that.
Yeah.
And you letting this person get you to a point where you got to do all this just to get back. You're going to give your body, and you're not even in a relationship with this person. You're just doing it to make this person mad. Like, look, I mean, that makes you, I mean, come on now, you know?
You know what my biggest problem is with that?
What's up?
Is that people don't know how to be by themselves. I cannot stand people that don't know how to be by themselves.
That's true.
It's like every time you by yourself, you have to go find somebody to lay with. You can't lay by yourself. You got to go be with this person. I'm like, can you heal? Do you know how to go heal? I've told so many people this that I'm cool with. They're going to feel shaded when they see this, but hey, it's just like, you got to learn how to be by yourself. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, especially like talking about like, oh, it's okay to sleep with multiple people. Like when people be like, oh, some females, they be knowing who they gonna deal with afterwards. Who? No, that shouldn't even cross your mind. If you love a person, you shouldn't even be thinking, oh, I'm gonna talk to him next. No, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't have to get to that point where you even looking at somebody else. If you love a person and you can look at somebody else, you don't truly love them. That's how I feel.
That's right.
That's how I feel. But, you know, some people just don't know how to be by themselves. They just feel like, I need attention. And I've told people this. When you feel like you just can't be by yourself, and when you and somebody break up, you instantly jump into another relationship, I feel like you don't know how to heal. Like, you need to slow down, heal, figure out who you are, what you like. Like, dang, I really, you know, need to heal this part of my life. I feel like I didn't get this type of love. That's why I'm looking for this type of love. Like, people don't look at it like that.
That's right.
But even though you ask some people these questions, they'll sit here and give you the whole rundown. Like, I feel like I didn't receive this. I didn't receive that. So that's why I'm searching for it. If that's the case, if you know you're searching for these things and you can't find them, go be by yourself until you can. If you can be single, you can sleep with who you want to sleep with. Not saying it's a good idea. You can sleep with 50,000 females if you want to, if that's what you want to do. But you're single. Don't do these things while you're in a relationship. That's what some people don't understand. And I feel like that's my biggest problem with today.
That's right. And listen, when you single, and this, I think that point is like spot on because people don't understand that sometimes it's necessary in season in your life to be alone after a relationship. I mean, because some people forget what it used to feel like being by yourself, and they kind of get caught up in a relationship. But sometimes you really just need to be by yourself, especially now because when you have certain conversations, you know, with yourself, like, I mean, because I talk to myself about a lot of stuff. Like, sometimes you just need to. I mean, sometimes you need to. Like, man, you really messed this up, or man, you you need to get yourself together. And sometimes people need to, but some people are afraid of that moment. Some people are afraid to really listen to listen to their mind and really figure out what's going on. Some people are really afraid of the healing process because it's not easy. It's not beautiful. Like, it causes you to put yourself back into a traumatic situation. And some people don't want to be back in that. Some people just want to put a Band-Aid over it, and move on to the next part of their life. Try to find somebody that they can be in a relationship with. But then you gonna put that person through the cycle.
It's like a scab,
and
you keep picking at it.
Yeah, you keep picking at it, and guess what? Eventually, you're gonna start putting that frustration, because once the Band-Aid come off and once the scab come off, it's an open wound again. And now you're gonna start, unleashing the pain of that wound on somebody you're in a relationship with, when you should have let the wound heal and then jump into a relationship with somebody. And a lot of people just want like a bounce back relationship. Like, I'm in a relationship with this person so I can get my life back together. No, you need to be in a relationship with yourself so you can get your life back together. And then now you put this woman or this man, whoever you're in a relationship with, through hell because you never took that time to really just unwind, to really figure out where you're supposed to be, like really figure out what God got in store for you. You just needed somebody. Some people just need somebody to be next to. Some people just need a relationship. Somebody they don't want to be by themselves. And sometimes I don't want to be by myself. Sometimes, you don't. When you come home and it's just lonely, you just by yourself. Nobody wants to deal with that. That's true. But sometimes it's necessary. And to be honest with you, that's the clearest way of God to get to you, when you really by yourself. Like, because when you got too many distractions, people opinion and all this stuff going on at one time, your mind is too clouded to really hear what God has to say to you. Sometimes you really just need to be in that desert by yourself. Sometimes you really just need to really feel the pain of what really bothers you. Sometimes you need to just break down and just say, you know what, God, listen, I'm hurt. Like, I've done all this. I've been through all this. I really need you in this moment. Like, and some people just don't want to do that.
They got too much pride. And I feel like with that, I don't know. I just feel like, especially with men, women have this problem too, especially like when you so used to being around a certain type of people, it's like, oh, this is what me and my old friends we used to do. And when you get to a certain point in your life, you have to realize you can't be with them people no more. Like, you have those people that are, they're like, y'all used to party together. Y'all used to go get females, chase females together, or chase men together, or go out in the clubs, and you get all this attention. You getting all this, what you think is love from all these different men and women. And then it's like, people think, oh, I can't do that because my friend's not gonna think it's cool, or they gonna be like, oh, you in love, this and the third. I feel like that's something else that I pay attention to. Like, some men don't like to acknowledge that, like, oh, when you get around your homeboys, it's nah, like, it's not like that. I'm like, why I gotta be like that? You feel me? Like, it's okay to love a person. It's okay to show somebody that you care about somebody. But some people just have too much pride.
That's right. That's why I surround my friend group is like with people who are in relationships mostly and who married, because I want to be around people that I want to be like. I want to be around people who have a healthy relationship that I can have conversations with, because if I put myself around people, let's just say I'm married or I have a girlfriend, if I go hang out with those people, let's just say we go to the club one night, they're going to be the people influencing me to make bad decisions. That's why you should put, I'm being real. If you're a single man or you in a relationship with somebody, your friend group shouldn't be predominantly single men. You shouldn't go out with predominantly single men, because you're going to turn into a predominantly single man. You're going to be out there doing whatever they doing, because whatever you involve yourself around, that's what you're supposed to be. That's the representation of you. So if you involve yourself around with single men, you go out to a club, you going to see women, you going to do this, you ain't gonna be thinking about your relationship, because you with your boys, you hanging out, you chilling. And that's go for women too. If you like a woman in your circle, and you know that you date, you know that you in a relationship with somebody, you dating a man, and you really in a serious relationship with somebody, you really love this person, and you about to go out with your homegirls, girls' night out, or y'all go on a girls trip or whatever, and your friend girls, how they get, you know what I'm saying? They gonna get with a man, whatever, and they looking for him, they talking about him. Why surround yourself with women like that when that's not you? Because, some women are easily influenced by their surroundings. Some men are easily influenced by their surroundings. Why give yourself a temptation? I don't understand. Why would you naturally put yourself around a temptation moment when you can just surround yourself around a healthy relationship basis? You can go out with somebody and go out with your friends, and these people are in relationships, they married, they have boundaries, they have certain stuff they wouldn't do. And going around with single people, what do you think gonna happen? They see a group of women, what do you expect gonna happen?
And you the only one that's in the yeah.
What you think gonna happen?
Right.
Y'all go to the hotel room, y'all drove together. What y'all think? You think?
Like you really gonna go sit in the car?
Yeah, they go. Come on. Imagine how you go home. You go home to your girlfriend. Like, hey, baby, what's going on? I just got back. all my homeboys was at the hotel room. They had women, but I ain't do nothing. I was just sitting in the car.
In my defense, I had a situation like that. And I called the dude I was talking to, and I told him, I was like, I'm finna go home. In my defense.
I mean, if you
sometimes you have people that are smart, but like I get what you're saying.
But how? I mean, think about that. If your boyfriend called you, let's say you was in a relationship, your boyfriend called you, and he was like, "Yeah, we at the club right now. We about to go up to the hotel room. All my homeboys got these girls. You know what I'm saying? I drove with them though, but I ain't gonna be doing that. I'm gonna be coming home. I'm gonna be coming home in a minute." Are you gonna be able to trust that based on what they said? Of course not. I mean, if my girlfriend called me, hey man, I'm out with my homegirls. They done found some dudes at the club. I ain't got no choice to ride with them because we all roll together. What you gonna? I'm gonna try to hurry up and get out of here. I'm gonna call an Uber or something like that. But don't call me because I'm saying I don't know. I ain't gonna be able to hear you because we in the car. We got music going and. I'm supposed to say, okay, well, just call me whenever you get free. You know what I'm saying? No, you're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So it's
matter
all
of fact,
about
share the address right now. I'm on the way.
Yeah. I mean, some people, and you look on Life 360 and you see their location, they done paused it. You know what I'm saying? Something going on. In the back of your mind, you should always be thinking, okay, well, what's up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just about environment. If I have a girlfriend and she like, okay, well, my home, and especially if I know the group, like these women are in relationships and they serious about their relationship, they married. We go out and they be like, okay, well, we about to go out. I'm like, go have a good time, sure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if I know you hanging out, if I know you're in a relationship, if I know we in a relationship and you got a friend girl and y'all go out, and I know this girl, you done told me about these girls.
Why I knew you was gonna say
I'm about
that.
to say, you done told me like, well, this girl, she like yada this. She done stepped out of her relationship. She talking about she gonna leave him, and she done got caught doing this, and she done called me and told me. You done told me about it, and now you telling me you about to go out with this girl, and I'm playing the game. You like, well, hey babe, I'm about to go out. I'll be back at 11 o'clock. With who? Who you going with? Oh, I'm going with that girl. Remember what I was telling you about? No, hold on now. Let's have a conversation about it. That's how it's supposed to be, but. It's all about who you surround yourself with when it comes to situations like that.
Yeah.
It's scary, though.
It is.
It's very scary because, hey.
Well, I just had some flashbacks.
Hey, shoot. Hey, I'm telling you, that trauma, when you hit that moment, that trauma come back to you quick. Because, I done been there and done it. You know what I'm saying? Where where I done been out with some of my homeboys and I was in a relationship and she know what my homeboys like. She know how they are. She know what's going on. She know what it's really about. And I'm with them, and with me, when I'm hanging out with a group, I'm chilling. I'm hanging out. I'm always, having fun, having a good time. And if she know that I'm gonna be around people who do stuff like this, yeah, she gonna expect me to be that type of person. And I might not be that type of person. I would never do that. But it's just the environment that I'm around.
Yeah.
And
I had a situation like that, but this friend knew I was kind of. I ain't gonna say I was crazy, but they knew like I wasn't going for nothing. They be like, "Oh, she don't play, like she be on it." So they would try to like, bro, bro, she be tripping. No, it's not that. You want to go be a HOE? That's what that was.
Yeah, and and listen, I'm with my homeboys and all the men out here. They gonna be mad at me. We gonna look out for each other. Let's be real. I done had to do it for a few of my homeboys. Like they call me, hey Tay, where were we at last night? Hey man, we was at Wingstop like about 11 o'clock. Did we go anywhere else? Bro. We went nowhere. We went nowhere. And guess what? You put me, but guess what? We might do it, but I'm gonna have a conversation with him like, bro, if you gotta do all that, either you're gonna need to stay in our relationship. I'm looking out for you because you're my dog, but I'm gonna me and you gonna have this transparent conversation right quick. You need to stop. You know what I'm saying? And some men like. Some of my homeboys be like that. If I would have did something stupid, they'd be like, dude, are you stupid? Like, something wrong with you. Like, you don't need to be in this situation. And I'm the same way with my homeboys. If I know they got a good girl at home, if I know they having a great relationship, this woman is very, like, respectable, and she wouldn't do what you about to do right now, I'm going to tell you, like, bro, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. That girl, first of all, that girl will kill you. Second of all, that you when you get home, it's gonna be a problem, and this girl will never do you like this, no matter what. She's gonna be riding with you. When you didn't have nothing, she was there for you. When you were living at your mama's house, she would come pick you up when y'all went on dates. She sacrificed a lot for you. Now you gonna go out here since you done got yourself on your feet, and you gonna do something stupid with us? Like, you should be smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? But Some men don't care.
Some people don't have friends like that hold them accountable.
Hey, listen, because be honest with you, we all know that we're gonna have some friends, we're gonna protect each other. But some men don't need protection, they need accountability. And I'm all about accountability. Now, if I see you doing something that's stupid, I'm gonna tell you you're doing something that's stupid. Now, I will protect you because you're my friend, but I'm gonna have a conversation with you. Now, you put me in this situation where I have to go around this woman. If I come over your house and she asks me, now you wouldn't lie to me about where y'all was at, right? I gotta look her dead in her eye, and I don't like to lie. You know what I'm saying? I had to, I'm like, yeah, we was there. We was there. Yeah, we was there. And she gonna be like, nah, because I looked at his phone, and y'all said y'all going to this club at 12 o'clock. Now he said y'all was gonna be done at 10:30. You said on the phone that y'all was at Wingstop at I gotta sit here and play investigation with this woman, and I gotta lie for you.
Oh yeah, we did do that. We did. I forgot. So you telling me you forgot y'all went to go get food?
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Women pay attention to everything. I do. I think I'm just nosy.
Hey, and sometimes you got to be. But I think we touched a lot. I think we talked about a lot. What you think?
I think so. It was good.
You gonna come back and talk to her?
Yeah.
Well, this has been another episode of Unlimited Minds Podcast. I'm Tay. This is my friend Yahigha, and we see you later. Peace.
Thank you.